Today's episode is brought to you by Our City Coffee. Our coffee. I guess we don't do this enough, Timmy. We don't tell people that it's our coffee.
No.
You and I have developed. We didn't develop it, but it's our brand, our company that we've developed, the branded company that we give back for every bag that we sell. So Gunther said this when he came into the podcast. He said, I guess I didn't know that it was your guys. Like he knew, like I talk about it on my Instagram and yada yada, but it's not super clear that it's ours, and it is ours. It's our baby, Our City Coffee. We'd also love for you to have some. If you use the code BS Timmy, you'll get 15% off. Go to ourcitycoffee.com, use the code BS, and drink some really damn good coffee. Timmy, today we take a step into the Klaus house. With Gunther Klaus.
Yes, we did. I
like that. I like that. All right. He's a movement coach, a CrossFit coach, has his own Fit Forever program. Really cool. Like I've never met him, but I've known him on Instagram for like a year. I've known his girlfriend, or I should say, I've known his fiance for just about a year. So I see him, her, them all the time on there. But finally got to sit down and talk to him. Really fun combo.
Yeah, it was cool. He kind of lives in the same world we do, so it was nice.
He certainly
nice
does.
Chatting.
We talk about his Fit Forever program, how he's growing it, his expectations over the next year. We talk a little bit about what's going on with CrossFit right now.
And their social posts,
and
or lack thereof.
And lack thereof. Oh, that's quite the teaser.
Thank
Timmy, we'll end on that one. We hope you enjoy this episode, and we thank you. Yeah, what up, dude? Welcome to the podcast. You made it.
Thank you. It's actually very exciting.
Yeah, you're excited right now. Look at that.
I am.
Seems excited.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you why.
All right, tell me.
So I have a lot of different stuff in my own business that I'm trying to do. And one of the things I was like, I'm going to do an Instagram live for a week. I'm going to do it at the same time.
Okay.
And I'm going to teach people about stuff. I'm just going to try to provide as much value as I can. And then get all these people who have been following me forever to realize that I actually am doing things over here.
Yeah.
Because I feel like whatever, I don't want to digress. But
digress as much as you'd like.
Promotion, value production, tell people what's going on, and maybe give them something to walk away with.
Yeah.
So did it for a week, and it was great, and people were loving it. And I say that not as like a brag. I was just impressed that people actually were like, oh, I'm showing up tomorrow night. I'm going to make time for this. I'm going to learn. I'm going to listen. And I had 4 or 5 people reach out to me specifically who were like, yo, you need to have a podcast.
Yes.
Like, this is fantastic. You should start your own podcast. And I was like, I would love to. And at the end of my last night, I was like, does anyone know how the hell to even do this? Like, I don't know where to begin.
Okay.
I was like, I don't have a microphone. Do I like just go buy one? Do I like upload it to a thing? Do I have to pay someone to like host my podcast?
Yeah.
Like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And then literally 4 or 5 days later, you're like, hey, dude, you want to be on the podcast? I was like, whoa, who's listening to this shit?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't think you did.
Yeah, I didn't. That's
rad.
crazy.
That is great timing.
But makes sense. So backstory on that is for whatever reason, I just kept seeing your live, and I would pop in and see a thing or two and watch for a little bit. And that's probably why, you know how like Instagram works when you're watching stuff or you're commenting, like I'll heart your thing if I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see your story more.
Right.
And so then I just saw your shit. I don't remember exactly what you said, but you were talking about something. And I was like, hey, maybe it was, what was it? Son of a mother. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but it was something. And I was like, oh, this would be cool to talk about. Let's talk about it.
Oh, cool.
But like, you know, like we said, when you first came in, it's like, we don't ever need to have set topics. We'll just talk about anything.
Yeah. That's probably far more entertaining anyway.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear me struggle to try to come up with an answer for a preconceived question.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but I think you should do that.
Yeah. What would you, like,
and we also do that to everyone who comes on here.
How do you put concepts around it, and what would that be like?
Yeah. I mean,
pull that down just a little bit.
Sure.
Is it interviews? Is it solo? Is it, do you have someone else?
Interviews
a co-host?
are always more fun.
Yeah.
It's so boring to listen to the same voice, no matter whose voice it is. I found that from this. I think, I mean, it's opinion.
Yeah.
But like, I listen to some people that I really like, and I love what they're saying, but the monotone or just the structure of hearing the same voice, you lose it.
Sure.
It's way more engaging when I'm like, back and forth, and it just becomes this nice, spontaneous thing. So interviews for sure. My whole desire is to kind of like preach or teach what I've learned and what I think is important in life. And a lot of that goes from or stems from fitness and then goes into self-development and kind of just like, I don't know, existential life understandings.
Okay.
I'm trying not to be vague here, but it is kind of a broad topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of discussing how all that plays into your day-to-day and how to be a better human being.
Sure.
Cool. That's kind of why we left ours. Ours is business and BS, because the BS could be anything.
Totally.
Leave it open to whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be some kind of business discussed and then a lot of BS.
It's very aptly named.
Yeah.
I love it. I told somebody else about it this morning. They're like, that's great.
Yeah.
I would love to listen to that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now they can listen to this one.
Yeah,
Totally.
Fucking
I
better.
subscribed.
Yeah.
Bam. Look at
Nice.
that. Now we have 1,000,001 subscribers.
There we go.
Ish.
We do.
Ish.
Ish. Damn, I lost my train of thought on what I was going to ask you on that.
On his specific podcast?
Yeah. Oh, so we were just talking about this with Gabby on the podcast the other day. The setup you're looking at right now, don't count the camera or the light,
Okay.
is under $300.
Oh, I heard that.
You heard that? Okay,
Because I listened to it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Nice.
oh, that's
Yeah.
actually really cheap. I can do
Yeah.
that.
It's not as hard as you think.
Yeah.
So this underneath the table here is the recorder. That's the most expensive thing. It's like $200-ish.
Cool.
$20 mics, $12 stands, table that anyone has, and a
Yeah.
couch that anyone has.
Totally. And you were saying, you're like, these aren't the best things ever, but the sound
No,
quality's
right.
great. And you're right.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was. It was like
Yeah.
in the car. It
And
sounded
the sound
perfect.
sounds better than a lot of other podcasts
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're spending a lot more money than we are.
Definitely. And then as far as like cutting it up, you can do it in iMovie if you want to.
Yeah.
You can do. We host on SoundCloud, which cost us like
it's 10 a month.
$10 a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not that, and then it shoots to all the other ones, so it goes to iTunes. Nice. It goes to iTunes, Google Play, all the jazz. You
Nice.
just have to set those up on that end. So it's
Oh.
like it's a lot easier than you think it would be.
It's just an umbrella thing. You upload it once and it goes
Yep,
to all
of them.
Great.
Just RSS feed. Just
Nice.
yeah,
That's cool.
it's simple.
Great.
I think you should do it as soon as you
Yeah.
just invest $300. You're fucking in.
Yeah. I think
Damn.
it's the time investment that I
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
in the editing.
But it's like, so I said this too recently. So I edit it all. If I'm spending more than an hour, I don't want to do that. That's too much time for me to edit it. Now we
Yeah.
don't do like, I'd like to kind of put a little more quality into our videos where maybe we go 2 cam and I'm editing and I'm splicing and stuff like that, but we're not there yet with the 1 camera. And you don't even need to have, any video component. You can just do audio, but I don't want to spend more than an hour, like of my actual time doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hour to do the podcast, hour to edit it, and you're golden.
2
How-
hours.
2 hours. 2 hours. Could
I'm
be
like
2 hours a
thinking
week.
about
Oh, yeah.
scheduling and
2 hours a week.
No, you're good at math too.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, right.
I just know my
plus one.
schedule well,
Yeah.
and I know those little color bubbles
Yeah.
where I have time.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
non-existent.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you be different in because there's a lot of shit like that, like you're talking about doing podcast wise. What would be different about what you would do compared to the other 10,000 ones?
That's a great question.
You don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet. A lot of times I'm faced with that question in other aspects of my job, career, whatever you want to call it. And oftentimes, unfortunately, I end up with the answer of, I'm not really, I'm just here and it's me. You know, like how is the McDonald's down the street different from the McDonald's up the street?
Yeah.
You need one over there and you need one over there.
Sure.
So sometimes you kind of need the same thing.
But then came Chipotle and
Right. Okay. Sure.
so
now,
like
now we go into
that's better. Like it's close, but it's better.
Yeah, totally. So that's where you start to develop what's going on, right?
Got you. Yeah.
I mean, I just got excited about doing a podcast. I don't even have an idea for
Yeah.
the actual setup of
Sure.
this yet.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's how we started ours was we would be on set doing video with like these cool ass people, and it might be, someone who's in fitness or an athlete or a brand. And we'd have these cool ass conversations, and then that conversation would go nowhere. So we would have like the same conversation we're going to have with you today, and then it would just be gone,
Right.
and we have shit memories now anyway. So it's like, we wouldn't even remember half the stuff,
Yeah.
but now it's in podcast form. And if there's something that people say that like influences somebody else, or this inspirational story of how they got to where they are, now we can share with the masses. So it wasn't like, we're like, all right, we're going to start this podcast and we're going to, make this
Here's
the
our
biggest thing
format.
ever.
Here's what we're
Yeah.
gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. It just grows
Exactly.
Yeah.
organically.
We actually our first name was Curran Events.
Nice.
It's our last name, Curran Events, and then we changed the podcast September of last year,
Where we at?
October.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Something like that.
Fall.
Because like it was Curran Events was like kind of how you are. Let's just sample out, feel out what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then we wanted more of a business angle.
That was like your first simple mistake.
We did like a handful of them.
We've had a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. I
Totally.
mean, you don't get to this point until you make quite a few
Totally.
mistakes. Right?
We've done it.
Totally.
We've done it. A lot. But we're cool now. We'll make a bunch more.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about what your day is. Like, what are you doing? Not podcasting yet.
Yep.
What are you doing on a typical day?
Every day's a little different.
Okay.
Most days I am waking up, obviously.
Hopefully.
Getting at least 2 to 3 sessions in personal training, one-on-one sessions.
Okay.
Working out myself. Oftentimes there's a small gap where I'll work on some of my online stuff, and then I'll go into coaching a class or a small group training, and then maybe I'll sprinkle in 1 or 2 sessions later in the evening. If not, I am going back to this online stuff that I'm running right now.
Cool. Talk more about that.
I've got remote clients that are or previously were clients of mine, one-on-one clients, that are kind of running on recurring monthly programs. Mm-hmm. They just know that it's easier to hand it off to me, and they get a good full balance program that's tailored to them.
Sure.
So that's one thing. So kind of staying in touch with them, updating, checking in, making sure that, hey, my hip hurts today. All right, you should probably do this instead of this, whatever else.
Sure, yeah.
And then I just started and just launched on Monday, yesterday.
Fit Forever.
Holy cow, Fit Forever.
Fit
Thanks.
Forever.
Oh, that's awesome that you know. That's great.
Of course.
I've been doing my best, and it's funny.
You know what? That's probably what triggered it. You saying something about that. And
I was
cool.
Like,
what is this? Let's talk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great. That's a huge win for me that you even know what it's called, because
but I don't know what it is.
That's okay. I'll tell you.
Okay.
And yeah, that's great. It's good feedback for me, because I need to get better at this.
Sure.
But 5 months ago, if you told me that I'd be doing what I'm doing on social media, I'm not doing anything special on social media, but just the reoccurrence and consistency, I'd be like, you're fucking lying. There's no way. I hate this. And I've learned to love it because I'm starting to get better at it. And I kind of knew that that's why I should do it, because I didn't like it. It just means I'm not good at it. I don't know how to do it.
Sure.
I'm speaking about just consistently promoting things, right? Doing what you guys do, trying to like make it known what's going on.
Sure.
So anyway, Fit Forever is a 12-week program. And I say that with air quotes because it is more of just 12 weeks under my coaching, and we're going to shape shift however we need to get you success. And it is teaching these individuals of this group community that I've kind of collected how to identify their weaknesses, make them strengths, and be fit for the rest of their life.
Okay.
So as a personal trainer, we get a lot of, I want to put all of my money and all of my like faith into you, and you just make me a fit individual, and I'll see you 2, maybe 3 hours of my 168 hours a week.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, I'm not a miracle worker.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. There's stuff you got to do. And so this program is kind of designed around that aspect of like, okay, we need to take a look at all these other things that have nothing to do with the gym, because the gym in reality is the easiest part of staying fit. Mm-hmm. You can go do workouts, class pass, whatever, anywhere. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But it's the consistency, it's the nutrition, it's the sleep, it's all the other stuff that comes up. It's I'm just not going to pay attention to my body because I have a wedding this weekend. And you're like, no, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
Right? It's you are your habits, and if you're consistently being a habitual fucker, then you're just gonna you're gonna show that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how are you able to do that? Like, what's the program? If I'm in it, am I sending you stuff constantly?
Yes.
Is it daily?
Yes. So a little bit of everything. Yesterday was the beginning. So it was like an almost overwhelming amount of just like talking shop and getting things together. So I go through a training app called Trainerize, and it is it's just an easy app on your phone. I have everyone's workouts in there, and everyone's in a group. So if I need to modify certain things for certain people, I can. And everybody's kind of following the same skeleton of a program. They check in for their workouts. There's a little video next to it that kind of goes through a demo. Some of them is me demoing and talking. Some of it's just a generic thing that was built by the app, which is fantastic. Uh-huh. Sets and reps, time for rest. It's very detailed. Right? I can do whatever I want with it. So you checking into that when you do your workout. Every morning I give them a task of a morning journal. They're going through some simple exercises like starting with gratitude, going into 3 current goals that they have.
So how does that, how do they see that? Is that they go on the app and today's journal is 3 goals or whatever?
Okay, so let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
I host 2 Zoom calls a week where that's like our group, and that's my coaching.
Yeah.
And I run it kind of like my lives, where I'll do like a mini seminar. I'll teach them about something, and then I'll open it up for like, hey, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
What's hard? What's good? What are your wins? How do we get better? And then it kind of like this podcast, it just organically moves because there are 8, 9, 10 people in the crew chatting.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to do much. It just goes. So from there, they kind of learn their task for the week.
Okay.
So they'll have a weekly task, they'll have a daily task, or a few daily tasks. And as they progress, so does the demand. So starting right out the gates, yesterday, they have this morning journal that they're trying to do every single day. I've introduced them to this thing that I call house points, H-A-U-S, Klaus House is my thing.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. And they're trying to just accumulate as many positive points as they can. And it's all about like shifting your perspective to positive things. So like I give them this like basic guideline of this is paleo-esque foods.
Okay.
I hate saying that because I'm not like a paleo person. I don't prescribe to a certain nutrition thing. I'm actually just a straight science, like calories in, calories out, macronutrients.
Interesting. Okay.
But I do understand that I buy into the idea that these foods that are deemed quote unquote healthy are deemed that way because they are higher in micronutrients for their macronutrient value.
Sure.
It's pretty hard to overeat foods that aren't highly rewarding as far as like taste goes. You know, chicken and broccoli you're going to cut it before you're being a fatty, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Versus peanut butter, highly rewarding. You could eat a whole tub and be like, what have I done?
Yeah.
So we just kind of start to prioritize these healthy foods, and they earn points by doing so. There are some more complex rules to this. But that's a part of their daily task is like, let's keep track and let's start to be aware of how often you're doing good things versus not.
Okay.
There's no like, oh, how dare you? You had bread. It's fine. But you know, you're just trying to do as much as you can. And I took that from a technique called crowding out, which is like a nutritionist technique of like, I can only hold so much in my stomach. If I fill it with good things, then there's less room for the bad stuff. So let's crowd out the space with making good choices. They don't know this yet, but as they progress, I'm going to be monitored. I give them an Excel spreadsheet and they upload it. And what I've done is taken everyone's name and given them a different sheet within the same Excel sheet.
Okay. Yeah.
So they can see each other's stuff.
Okay.
And I haven't told them like, hey, you should try to get 20 points a day. I'm just like, just get as many as you can. And like literally the one thing I want you to do is just actually put them in there. It's really simple. Just do it. At the end of the week, I'm going to kind of monitor and be like, all right, Sarah hit 55 points.
Yeah.
John got 20. John, where are you at?
Step your game up, Johnny.
Right.
What
And
the
it's
fuck, John.
And it's in like a safe space because we all know each other by this point. And I've made it very clear, like, look, the more vulnerable you can be, the more room for growth we're going to have, the more feedback we can get, and the quicker we can grow. Like, let's just be a family. Mm-hmm. This is the house, H-A-U-S. Mm-hmm. And let's treat each other as such, right? And from there, we'll just go into different things. So by the end of the 12 weeks, they're learning and understanding what creates like a full nutritional balance or whatever you want to call it. And they're tracking their macros through like MyFitnessPal and making sure that they're hitting their numbers and whatever else. Sure. And if along the way, I mean, it's 12 weeks away. Along the way, they're learning why.
Sure.
Right.
Cool.
And
through your calls, the Zoom calls?
Through my calls, and then through PDFs that I've created that I'm kind of like throwing out every once in a while. And the idea is, 12 weeks is enough time to create and sustain a habit, roughly. There are sharp numbers on this, but in reality, the numbers are just averages. There are no, your habit creation is not going to be the same as mine versus yours. But if you start today and you do something for 12 weeks, chances are it's going to be pretty sustained. Right? Sure. If you can.
Do you imagine these people then re-upping or starting a new program?
Business guy, always thinking about the next thing. Totally.
Is it a one and done?
Yeah, no. There will be deeper levels to it.
Okay.
As I'm going through this is my first run. So I'm getting a lot of feedback. I mean, even just yesterday, I was like, oh, there's a lot of other stuff that I could do. And I'm I'm going to start to utilize that and turn it into like level 2 or whatever else so that they can go into the second chapter. But as much as I'd like to think with that business mindset, like, okay, let's get Jan in for the whole next year. Let's sign her up for like a discounted whole year contract, whatever. A big part of me promoting or launching this Fit Forever, specifically just the Fit Forever, is like, I just want to teach you all this stuff so that you can be like me. And you don't need to pay someone else to like put fitness in their hands. Take ownership for it. You have the tools, you have the understanding, and now you've done it for 12 weeks. So you know you can do it on your own.
Sure.
And don't come back to me, you know, like go do your thing. Because I think that's a missing link in fitness. And it's also something that I hate about the stereotypes of personal training, which is just like money hungry trainers. I don't know that this is a stereotype outside of the training world. Most of my friends are trainers, so I kind of know the training world. But
yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that would be my first inclination. Mine would be like, especially in LA, mine would be like, oh, you actually want to be an actor. You're just training.
100%. 100%.
This is how you're paying the bills right now.
Yes. And that's actually where a lot of this stereotype comes from. Is just people who are like, they're trying to put food on the table, you know?
Sure.
And I get it. That's cool. I think your last podcast girl, Gabby, was it Gabby? She's the actress.
Yeah.
She said it perfectly. She's like, I'm going to do 1 year where I'm not going to let myself get a job. And I'm going to fully dive into option A, not give myself an option B, and I'm going to make it work. And she's making it work.
Yeah.
Right. And I see that all the time. I used to work at Equinox, and there are a lot of people who are like, really have these other passions, mostly acting. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you are never going to be an actor. I don't give a shit about how you're not a good personal trainer.
Yeah.
You're never going to be an actor.
Yeah.
You gotta get after it.
You gotta do it.
And I promise you, if you're hungry, you're gonna find ways to get in front of more people and do more auditions, and you're gonna book something. It's inevitable, you know.
But a lot of people are afraid, or more so probably just they're afraid because they don't know if they'll because when's the next paycheck coming in. But they're also afraid because if I really go all in and then I fuck up,
and then I got nothing to say.
Then I got nothing.
Yeah.
Because it almost gives you like that fail safe. Like,
right.
Well, you know, I didn't make it in acting, or I didn't make it in this because I was training and I had to work 60 hours a week.
That's exactly why they do it.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly why. And so, you know, transition to some of the stuff that I want to teach is like everybody knows what goes around comes around as a karmic rule. But one of the karmic rules that people don't often know is, and I'm going to butcher the actual statement on it, but it's essentially you have to accept or be okay with the worst case scenario before you're actually able to accept the best case scenario. So once you can look at a situation and say, all right, if I put all my eggs in this acting basket and I give myself a year and I fail, I'll be okay. Once you say I'll be okay, that's all right, I'll move on. Then there's some kind of karmic thing that's like, all right, cool, here you go. You did it. You passed the mindset test. And not everyone subscribes to that. I can't put that into metrics and be like, I guess I could actually, now that I think about it, right? There could be a study that puts that in, like, how many people had this mindset, right? But I find that stuff fascinating because in my own experience, I found it to be 100% true.
Sure.
Without fail.
I mean, us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, I'm sure there's friends or people we know that would maybe be able to like not be in that bubble, but I'd imagine most people, if not all, are there.
I think everyone's in that bubble.
If you really put in the time and say, all right, I'm doing this, and not beat around the bush, or I'm going to have to it. You just sit like, that's my deal.
I think anyone who thinks that they're not in that bubble is just living in that half-ass other bubble.
Sure.
And doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe. Opinions.
We don't, right. Yeah. Opinions. We don't have any actual facts behind that.
Totally.
But yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So how are you getting, all the people right now are former clients, right?
Not all of them.
Okay.
But all of them currently I have interacted with in person. So
okay.
I have had some kind of like personal touch to each one of these people, whether it be they dropped in and took a CrossFit class of mine, or I trained them, or I went to college with them or something.
Okay.
So they know me. I don't have anyone yet that's like outside of my immediate grasp.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'd know you through, the only other way would be like something through social. And if you're just starting to really like put out content,
exactly,
whatever month, 2 months. Yeah. Well, that'll come with time, and then referrals and all that stuff.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. So you got to start, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what this is.
Sure.
Just the start.
And then the podcast goes, and then there's
There you
10
go.
million people
Right.
listening, and then
you have a couple people on.
You're gonna be like,
testimonial
There we go.
podcast.
yeah,
You're on your way.
yeah. Speaking of CrossFit, we've talked about this just before, but like the whole no Facebook and Facebook proprieties thing. I don't think we talked about this on the podcast at all.
Nope.
We were gonna do like a 10-minute Tuesday sometimes.
Uh-huh.
But it's Tuesday. Actually, it's Wednesday night as this is released.
Nice.
Or actually, I might do next week. We'll see. Anyway, so CrossFit came out and because of Facebook shut down a page of theirs, which I believe is like low carb diet-ish type deal, right?
Okay.
Is that are you sure?
I actually don't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I
that
believe
either.
that's why.
Teach me, Pat.
So they shut that page down without notifying them or letting them know why or that it even was happening.
Oh.
Brought it back up. Same thing. Didn't tell them why or anything, and then they just said, "We're done." That's like the gist of it.
Interesting.
So
was it like a regional gym or something?
No, I think
their headquarter one, or what was it?
No, some sort of diet plan they do, or some sort of. I assume it's like paleo-ish, but low carb. Maybe just not eating fruit or something in the paleo world. I don't know what it was, but
I think most of CrossFit subscribes to blocks, which is the zone diet.
Okay.
So it's 40% carbohydrate, 30% fat, 30% protein.
Okay.
And you make that up through essentially paleo foods.
Okay.
So the macronutrient breakdown is actually higher carbohydrate.
Interesting.
You called the block what?
Blocks. So you eat in blocks. So a block is, oh my God, I'm going to do some bad work on my L1s here. It's just the ratio of fat, carbohydrate, and protein. Okay. So when you eat in a block, you're like, I forget what it is, and I would hate to screw up these numbers. I'm going to screw up these numbers, whatever. It's basically like...
We ain't fact checking, too.
We believe whatever the fuck you're about to tell us.
It's like 9 grams of protein and 3 grams of fat. Oh, maybe it's 257. But essentially, there's like a blend that makes up a block, and then everyone has to eat in these blocks, and the difference is how big you are and how many blocks you need.
Okay.
Right. So like, we'll all take a meal and we'll figure out how many strawberries makes one block. Let's say it's a strawberry, and then a chicken breast is a block of protein. The strawberry was a block of carb, and then we'll have like a nut, which is a block of fat.
Okay.
And you need 5 blocks. So you just multiply that by 5. I need 4 blocks. I multiply it by 4. And like, those are our meals.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
It works pretty well.
Sure.
Works real well.
Makes sense. If you're anytime you're going to standardize something, it's going to work.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But so, all right. So they say, they come out, they say, we're done. We're not, and for the foreseeable future or something like that, they were
Facebook and Instagram, right?
Well, Facebook and its proprietors.
Right. Okay, we're done.
So Instagram, done. But you work at a CrossFit gym.
Right.
Hasn't affected you guys. Has it? You guys don't change. You guys
Not
post
really.
on Instagram. You doing this?
Not really.
Okay.
My gym specifically, no. I think it's just created a little confusion.
Interesting.
Everyone in the CrossFit world's been a little bit confused in the last year. If you know about anything from before,
I don't.
I just know a little bit about this as well.
Okay.
To be completely fair, I'm not like a big CrossFit guy. I love a lot of the principles that are practiced through CrossFit, but I'm not like I know who's on the leaderboard. Gotcha. I'm paying attention to all this stuff.
You're not following the sport of it.
Right.
Okay.
The fitness side of it, I love. The politics of the sport, I don't really care.
Okay.
But Greg Glassman is creator of CrossFit, and I forget when it was, maybe a year ago now. He basically was like, all right, too much focus is on the games, and everyone just thinks that CrossFit is like, raw CrossFit, the games, these massive athletes. And there's no attention and focus on how many thousands of like 300, 400 pound people we made 100 pound people.
Sure.
He's like, that's the point of CrossFit. It's about health and fitness. And it's not just about like Matt Fraser can do 1 million clean and jerks in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know? So he's like, we're paying too much money and putting too much time and effort into like this 0.01% of the community. And no one knows about the majority of the community that's like doing amazing things. Mm-hmm. So we want to put more into that. So they wiped regionals, which was kind of like everyone's pretend goal to get to the games.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I have to fill you in because I feel like maybe you don't know any of this stuff, which is fair.
I don't know a ton.
When you said the old thing, I didn't know much about it, but Swiss guy we know, he's a CrossFit coach too.
Okay.
Back in Cleveland. And he was telling me a little bit about it, but like basically what you've said, you reminded me of what he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially everybody does the open. It's a nice way to test where you're at. And every year an open workout from the previous year gets thrown back in. So you can actually get a standard retest. That goes into a huge database. You compare your scores with everyone in the world. So,
which is cool.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You can be like, oh man, there's, John whatever from last year and he's moved up 300 spaces, clearly getting fitter.
Yeah.
They still have that. The top 20 people in each region in the world got to go to regionals. And it's everybody's freaking out because they took away regionals. They're like, we're not going to do it like this anymore. We're just going to have the literal first place winner from these sanctioned events and then from the open in the whole country, each country, go to the games. So that took the 20 male athletes and female athletes respectively in the United States to just one.
Oh.
And it's like, well, these are all the people. These are like the champs.
Yeah.
And they're always like neck and neck. And now you're just saying like just one.
Yeah.
And so people are like losing their minds. And then all these athletes that are really, really good athletes that maybe had a chance to go to regionals are like, well, my whole life's turned upside down. I don't even have a chance to go to the halfway point competition. And now this Facebook and Instagram thing.
Interesting. Yeah. So last year's games, which was August, September, right?
Yeah, August.
It was this?
No, they just started it this year.
Okay.
So
this August it'll be just the top.
So there,
right.
So right now it's so this August there was that was all wiped out. That would have been happening last month, right?
Yeah, it'd be happening now.
Oh, now? Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be some pissed off people.
For sure.
Well, and I mean, there's people, I'm sure that's their job, as a CrossFit athlete.
Yeah.
Even those people on that level that are
I think a lot of those people are CrossFit coaches.
Sure.
Or somehow related to CrossFit.
Yeah.
But that's their real drive.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And I'm sure that stripped away a big drive for them. Maybe a good thing for them though, Because if you're a dude who's just barely struggling to get to regionals and that's going to be your cap.
Yeah.
It's something to work towards, but it's not really getting you.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, look at the people who do Ironman or something
totally.
or run a marathon. It's
it's
build up to something. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
It's
to get somewhere and set a goal and hit it.
And then in that case, it sucks.
Yeah.
Are they talking about maybe coming back? Has everyone whispers of that?
I don't
because
think so.
of all the really.
Not on Facebook. They haven't. No announcements.
Well, that's what I wondered. Is with Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Is what about class schedules? Are things changing or Memorial Day or if Twitter. I guess you can all just go to the website, but.
Yeah, I don't think it matters, honestly. I don't think it matters at all.
You just think it's HQ does it and then everyone else doesn't.
Yeah, really? and to be biased because of the situation that I'm in, I just really don't think that it has a direct impact on these gyms. I mean, we all operate under, I was saying earlier, that affiliation of CrossFit, but the people in my gym don't even really care, They're not showing up because of this thing that is CrossFit.
Yeah.
They're showing up because of who these coaches are, what we do every day. And it really has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to take it away and my gym's called the Reebok CrossFit Lab, if you were just call it Lab and you took away Reebok and
the
CrossFit,
Reebok Lab,
it might be a little different getting new people, but our gym would be the same.
Yeah.
We'd have the same people showing up every day. We'd have the same little family community. We'd run the same workouts.
Sure.
It doesn't have that direct of an influence.
It's got to be. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that's I went to a different spot in Santa Monica, and there's just like that. It's a CrossFit gym, but it's not called CrossFit. And the communities, it's all the same stuff,
right?
And I'm sure there's tons of people doing that now that they're CrossFit. They just don't want to pay CrossFit. But then, like you said, I'm sure it is a lot easier. People know what CrossFit is to come in, and then obviously know what Reebok is. You say Reebok, CrossFit Lab. I've never been to the place where you train at. I want to go because it looks cool.
Right.
And there is that appeal to it to get you in the door.
You're right. And I don't know how much we're trying to appeal to get people in the door. It's another big reason why I didn't ever post about the classes that I coach. And now I'm actually going to stop doing it again because I get too many people hey, when can I take your class? And I'm like, not until you go through foundations. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, you got to do training sessions where we do one-on-one and teach you about CrossFit so you don't come in here and hurt yourself. And they're like, okay, how much is that?
Yeah.
$200. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
I'm never coming to your gym.
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, cool.
See, that's funny because I've been in like 5 different gyms, different CrossFit gyms.
Totally. And some of them let that happen.
But
we have it. And that's what I'm saying. We have a different standard. This
Yeah.
is that like mom and pop gym. The owners have their structure and their standards, and it keeps us operating really well.
Sure.
No one's going to come away and be like, oh, I went to the Reebok lab and hurt my arm.
Sure.
Like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And if you got that far to where you were operating under us and then hurt your arm, you're going to have enough of a rapport to not just be like, that place is garbage.
Right.
Sure.
Because there's a little bit of a buy-in.
Yeah. I think too, when I've gone, at least 2 of them been like, oh, you're an athlete, you'll get it. And I can do all this stuff, and my form's good in all this stuff. Like
Right.
I've done Olympic lifting since I was 15, 16.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I'm 35 now. I've been doing it 20 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's probably been tons of shitty reps within that.
For sure.
But, I've got an idea, or you can come change my grip, or like little small things, like move an inch out, or,
Totally.
so they can do that. But I also know lots of athletes. Like, you can't just clear an athlete because they're an athlete. There's
Exactly.
lots of college football players or volleyball or whatever that I've worked out with before, and you're like, holy shit, that's terrible for them.
Yeah, that's like the most dangerous situation,
Yeah.
right? Somebody who's got like the power, the speed, the strength
Yeah,
behind them, but no technique.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, this thing is light.
Yeah.
I'll throw that thing over my
Right.
head.
Right.
There goes
And
a
the
shot.
confidence behind them.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And, the stability, the mobility is not there. And those are the people that end up hurting themselves.
Sure,
And then
sure.
they're the ones who promote the negativity because they're ego driven in the first place. And you're like,
Yep.
it's not great.
That's an athlete.
Yeah.
Ego driven. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Not that we're not, but
Yeah. Totally. It's all.
What do you think is going to be different for you over the next year, starting all this new shit?
In what regard? A lot of things can be different.
Just in general, because you're like, all right, so I'm coaching, I do some online stuff, but now it's like this fit forever. You're talking about maybe doing a podcast. Like, what else? What are the next steps, progressions?
I mean, I'm always trying to just keep growing. I like change. I don't like staying stagnant. I really like to progress every aspect of my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been really tough for me. Like, I think this plays into what we were discussing earlier. It's always been really hard for me to just be like, oh, in 2 years, I'm going to be here and I'm going to do this. Or in a year from now, I'm going to do this. Yeah. And maybe that's partly the, like, I'm having a fail-safe plan B situation. But I definitely see this Fit Forever thing growing. I would love to see it be filled with like 20 to 30 people in each cycle. And I'd love to run like, I don't know, 5 cycles a year. They can overlap, maybe 4 cycles a year, right?
Sure.
That'd be great. I'd love to get it to be a self-sustaining thing. Once I can kind of get this thing rolling and figure it out, I'd love to start teaching other coaches and coaching other coaches on how to do it themselves. I see a lot of people struggle, especially in CrossFit, trying to take on class after class after class and get paid like $30 an hour, even less after tax.
Yeah.
And they're like, I coached 10 CrossFit classes today. And for people who are not in fitness, it sounds silly, but this is coming from someone who like clearly knows how to grind because fitness, right?
Yeah.
Coaching a class versus working at a desk is a crazy different energy output.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much more draining. And no matter how much you love it, no matter how much you're fired up about it and like how big your capacity is to coach classes, at the end of a 10-day sessions and classes, 10-hour day, you're like, dude,
Oh yeah.
I'm done.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely done. And then you do it again. And by the 3rd day, you're like, oh my God, can someone please do my laundry?
Mm-hmm.
I have no clean clothes and I have no time to do my laundry.
Yeah.
And like all these random things come up and then you're just like, I can't complain about this. I'm doing what I love. This is great. But you can, because it sucks.
Yeah.
So I would love to start helping those people who like just don't even see a way out and teach them like, all right, there's a stigma with online training. Some of it sucks, but here are some ways that I think you can do it really well.
Yeah.
And supplement what you love to do, which is the hands-on one-on-one. And I think that's just the aspect of me trying to fill a need that I wish I had for my previous self.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you thought about, well, I'm sure you've thought about it, Because wifey does like mini retreats and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that, like getaways, retreats, like weekends, team meetups.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've thought about it. Logistical nightmare.
Is it though?
I don't know.
Like
thinking about it, I'm projecting a nightmare. I think it could be good. I haven't even had like, you're like the first person who's even asked me. So there hasn't been anything coming in for me to start to consider it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe in the future. I'm not excited about it. It sounds like a way to make some money. It doesn't sound like a super excitable thing. Something I have been really interested in my whole life is setting up. I guess this is very similar. Maybe I'm just thinking of like who I see do it already, and I'm like, I don't want to do any of that.
Sure.
Setting up like a vacation, almost like a trip planner. What is that called? Why am I losing my thought here?
Travel agent.
Thank you. I'm like, what?
Got you.
This is such a simple thing.
Yeah.
Almost like a travel agent for like a fit or active vacation that's not revolved around drinking and eating.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, like Lauren, how we talked to
Totally.
Lauren Schwab.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
her things are.
Awesome.
It's all like mindfulness.
But are you thinking like
meditation,
app-based,
workshops.
technology-based?
No. I'm thinking like
One-on-one.
Let's-
Let me create it for you.
no, I'm thinking like a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, so maybe this is very similar to what she's doing,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking like, all right, let's go to Jackson Hole in the winter. And I know all of the best places to go out, but we're going to balance it with all these like healthier options. And let's map it around like day one, we're going to go heli skiing.
Mhm.
Day two, maybe day one, we like make our own snowboards. Right? So there's something like really cool and there's like a tangible takeaway. Day two, we'll go snowboarding, and we hired this guy who's going to take us to the best place and whatever else. And like your whole trip is absolutely exciting, but not overdone, where you get the unwind, you get the alone time, but there isn't ever like the issue with travel that I find comes up a lot, which is we have all day. What do we do? I don't know. Let's drink.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah. So
No, let's not do that.
Yeah. How Lauren's are set up, it's all like laid out. Like they set it up where it's workshops and your day is laid out. Now, if you don't want to go to a workshop,
You don't have to.
11 a.m. to noon, like don't go.
Right.
But this is about like starting your morning or whatever it is. And then later in the day is a hike. Like I'd imagine there's not a drop of alcohol drank.
Yeah.
And it's all inclusive what you pay. So she buys all the food and it's all cooked. So you just show up to lunch and lunch is there for you.
Right.
You know, that type of deal. So it's all health and fitness, mindset, all that stuff's wrapped into one.
Yeah.
But you could do it and make it super damn cool. And it could be
Great.
like Monday's going to be a crazy workout. And then later in the day, you're talking about mindset stuff or you're journaling. And then you're going snowboarding later on Tuesday. Or,
Right.
You can make it your style of getaway and your type of people.
Totally. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And just a thought.
There it is.
Could be cool. I just thought
came
about how cool that would be if you
Yeah.
did that. Now I know there's logistics and there's going to be upfront costs and
Right.
stuff like that. And then how do you price it? And
For sure. And I haven't even looked into any of that. And
Sure.
that's kind of why I'm saying it's not even on my, now it's on my radar.
it's on your radar.
Well, even Lauren did like her first trial was at Big Bear. It's like stay semi-local.
Cool. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Drivable.
Pretty low key group or whatever
exactly.
else.
Learn your
I think she had like 25.
Great. That's
Yeah.
not low key at all. That's a
No,
big
it's
ass
not
group.
that big. Yeah, it is a big group.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And she talks about it on here where a lot of the stuff she fucked up, like
Yeah.
I would have done this differently. I'd have done that differently. And then, since it's just her, essentially, I mean, she has a couple of people that are always there as well. But her second one, she said it was the best one by far.
Wow.
Like it was
And she's done multiple after
totally, yeah. Well, yeah, next one comes up. But she does like a lot of small ones, like weekend type deals.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you're ready, go back and listen to what number podcast was that with
9,000. I don't know.
Okay,
Lauren
go back
Schwab.
and listen to
You don't have,
9,000.
I'll
but look
easily
at it.
find her.
Yeah. And I'm sure you can reach out to her and
Yeah.
ask her about shit like that. But it's all like laid out. It's not a party and drink weekend. It's like master your mind, I think is what she calls it now.
Right. And I think that actually might be what I want to steer away from is like, I want this to be more of like I don't want it to be wrapped around like, hey, let's figure out your habits. Let's like be super healthy.
Yeah.
I just want a middle ground where it's not about the health and nutrition. It's just about having fun and keeping it healthy.
Sure.
With decent
And that's
nutrition.
you though. That's you.
Totally.
Like
and that's
that,
my differentiation. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure the people that you're attracting for the Fit Forever and just in general, people who follow you are probably in that same world too.
Yeah, right.
You know, like
right.
they believe that. Like, I don't want to just, not only eat lettuce, or,
yes.
I also don't want to go to McDonald's every day. So
Totally.
there's like somewhere in between.
There's the middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that
lettuce,
it's a
McDonald's.
great operating.
yeah. Lettuce is shit anyway. Don't
Cake
eat
or
lettuce,
death.
people. Cake or death.
Yeah, don't eat lettuce. So this last year we had that crazy lettuce.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
I don't ever eat lettuce unless it's like happens to be in a Chipotle salad.
Who put that lettuce in my hamburger?
Yeah. I eat super clean, or for the most part I do. But I don't do lettuce.
Just like single ingredient foods, clean?
Almost. Well,
what do you mean by clean?
I don't eat processed shit.
Oh, okay.
So like all I've eaten today is vegetables.
Oh, wow.
And threw some sausage on it.
Okay.
And I'll eat
sausage
that tonight
is processed.
too. Yeah, it is processed. You're right. But that's why I said I eat that and then threw some sausage.
Okay, there you go.
But it's also like
crowding out, dude. Crowding out.
Yeah. It's also like the best sausage you're gonna buy. That's not $1,000 either.
Sure.
So it's like organic. Everything's organic within it.
Nice.
So I'm minimizing my pesticides and all the bullshit.
Are you not supposed to say what it is, or can I ask
I don't
you
know what it is.
Oh,
I don't
great.
know what it is. Whole Foods sausage somewhere.
Shout out to Whole Foods sausage.
Yeah. Somewhere in the rack somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, I eat pretty good though. I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like shit if I don't. And so I'm 35. If I feel like shit, I'm not going to do the thing that makes me feel like shit.
Right.
If I was 12 or 22 still,
it's worth it.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Or I just don't know that when I drink milk, why does my stomach fucking hurt?
Yeah, you don't
whatever.
associate.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. Let me keep riding this.
Right.
Or I just drank 90 beers and now I start to feel like shit. Like, let me stop doing that. So now I stop.
Felt really good for a sec.
Yeah, for real. What else, Timmy?
No, nothing.
What a time. We appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, of course. Learn some shit. Hopefully you got some new shit on the docket. We got a podcast coming soon.
Yes, we do.
We could also talk about maybe something we have going on that might be.
I was just gonna say, can I ask you some questions? Because I.
Oh yeah, come on.
More.
Yeah.
This is for me.
Yeah.
Deal. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What? Where do you guys see this going in a year?
This.
I mean, this being you two, your business and bullshit, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple projects in the works.
Mm-hmm.
So where we make our income is video and marketing.
Okay.
Generally, most of our income. So we'll continue to do stuff in that realm where we work for brands or people or whatever we may do. I'd like to, like I said before, kind of upgrade what we're doing on this end, production quality. Go to cam. We're looking at like a place where it's just that. We can do just our
studio
podcast out of there.
Yeah.
Studio.
Nice.
Out of there. Yeah. What else, Tim?
I thought you were gonna drop the bomb.
What? Like our new shit?
Yeah.
Well, we're all gonna do is just a sports business.
Yeah.
podcast.
Shit. I thought you normally jump at that shit.
That's
You
like
kinda
in the
held,
works.
I know you kind of held back on that.
So
I was waiting for you to
basically,
jump.
it's called the sports biz experience. So it'll be sports business focused.
Great.
We're working on a big project that would kind of be like our true launch of it, where we would work with a brand, and it would be this big event. I don't know like how else to say it. I would say what the fucking event is. I don't give a shit.
Nah, yeah,
But you will.
Yeah, basically, it's. I like to keep things under wraps until.
Yeah,
I mean, you
yeah,
can keep it under wraps. That's cool.
Yeah, no. It's.
we can tell you after.
So Business BS is podcast about business BS.
Yeah.
It's the sports biz experience is be podcast show based on sports business, but also have live events associated with it. So in and around these bigger sporting events, moments that we're talking about, we're gonna physically go there and have experiences with fans and athletes and whatnot too.
Yeah. So like, one thing
do it at the CrossFit Games.
We may not. But that was one thing we've discussed. There's a big event in Vegas, UFC. Last year we tried to go to the Super Bowl. It just didn't like. I think part of that too is like we present it with business and BS, and we want to go to Super Bowl and be on Radio Row, which is like hundreds of people walk by and athletes come through, and you just, hey, come in, let's talk.
Yeah,
Perfect.
perfect.
Like that's how that goes. But when you come to the NFL with business and BS, and they're like, what's the correlation?
Right.
You have to like do some convincing. Whereas maybe we come with the sports biz experience and our 100 million listeners a week. That'll change that. So like big events like that, all-star games, different.
Yeah. You name it, doing some live stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot that we see that is sports focused, where like there's shitty business that we can talk about, or maybe bring on people to discuss that it doesn't correlate to like just general business.
Yeah,
I think.
Cool.
So I think that's
so that's one thing we got.
We'll do that this month. No, we won't, because it's late May. Next month is what I meant.
Yeah,
June. We're not in June yet.
Yeah.
We'll do that tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
1 hour to edit this.
Yeah,
right.
The rest of the night for that.
Yeah. So and then when we start doing that stuff, my father, hey Dad, is FaceTime me 3 times
in
while
we've
we've been talking for
George.
50 minutes or an hour.
George listens to all the podcasts.
Yeah, I'll send it to him.
Yeah.
I send him the podcast, and he's got his list of feedback. Here's what I liked.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I also told him to call me after 4 because I figured that would clear the time. We're just after 4 now.
Oops.
But he started at like 3.
Yeah.
Anyhow, anything else? Any other questions for us?
No, I mean, I'm excited to keep following your guys' journey.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm excited to follow yours too.
Maybe we'll have you on the sports biz experience during the CrossFit game.
There you go.
Yeah.
I gotta buy in and care a little bit more, but yeah.
Well, us too. We have to do some. You do the research so you can talk knowledgeably about it.
Yeah. But we don't I don't care about Joey being the best CrossFit guy, but it's interesting to discuss all right, what's he making for that brand partnership, or what is he doing? Or that's interesting. He brought Apple on as a partner. Why is Apple sponsoring with CrossFit? That type of stuff is what it was interesting.
For sure.
Even
the business.
Yes. Exactly. Even like NBA finals and I don't really give a shit. You give a shit?
No, I'm a Cavs fan though, so if Cavs are in it, I do.
He kind of cares.
Yeah, fine, but they're not. So it's but I'm interested to see what brands are partnering with what people. And how they're doing the timeouts, and are they double screening it, and just stuff like that.
I'm interested in that too, actually. That is interesting.
That's our game.
Yep.
All right, dude. Appreciate you coming through.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Goodbye.